Our next recipe is Ukrainian borscht. The ingredients are 8 cups of water, 2 medium potatoes peeled and cubed, 2 beets peeled and diced, 2 onions diced, 2 cups of cabbage cut into bite-sized pieces, 2 carrots peeled and diced, 1/2 cup of white beans cooked, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, 1/4 cup of chicken-style seasoning powder or McKay's chicken-style seasoning, 1 tablespoon of dill weed, 1 tablespoon of parsley, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and 2 cups of the tofu sour cream or our tofu mayonnaise for garnish. Oh, that sounds so delicious.
Oh, yes. Just wonderful vegetable ingredients.
Yes.
Hearty soup.
Again, it's like comfort food, right? Because a nice hot bowl of soup in the middle of the day or in the evening is it's just comforting.
It sure is.
I love it.
Well, let's begin.
Yes.
I have 8 cups of the water in the pot. I just reserved a small amount for sauteing some vegetables. We're going to go ahead and start our potatoes in the water.
Okay.
And we've got that temperature up there, so they will start to soften.
Good.
And then let's get this heat on, and we're going to, I think we're there. There we go. We'll add a little bit of water in here for sauteing our other vegetables while our potatoes begin to cook.
And I think it's good for people to know that they don't always have to use oil to saute.
That's right.
You know, you can use a little bit of water.
You can use a little bit of water.
Really good.
And if you have plenty of seasonings in it, you're not really compromising the flavor.
Right, right. And that's the important thing,
That
too.
is. So we're going to add our cabbage.
I love
Good
cabbage.
cruciferous vegetables
yes,
here.
for sure.
Excellent for our health. And then we have our carrots.
Love it. And look at how pretty and colorful that is.
Oh, it is.
You know, it's just colorful and it's pretty and savory. It's going to be savory.
Oh, yes. And again, onions. I just can't even imagine making a soup or so many dishes with onions. And this recipe has its share because there's 2 onions in here.
Now, Danny doesn't eat onions, so I have to
leave
make,
them out.
I know, I have to make his separately.
You would. You would. All right. And then we have our beets. Now, I want to talk a little bit about beets here. A lot of people have never cooked with a fresh beet before.
True.
I mean, we see pickled beets at the salad bar, or we buy them cooked in a can. But they normally come in the grocery store like this with the root on and then a large amount of green. Now you could cut this off and steam the greens as you would spinach or any other.
Right, beet greens.
And then you would just slice off the stem end and slice off the beet end, and then it peels very easily with a vegetable peeler just like a potato, and then you can work with it. Warning though, if you're wearing clothes that you don't want to stain, put on an apron.
Yes, and you might want gloves too because your hands get stained.
Absolutely, absolutely. They have that very deep pigmentation in them, so you'd want to leave that there.
Beets are so important because they have something called nitric oxide in them, and it's actually a vasodilator. So if you have hypertension, you know, high blood pressure, you eat beets and it helps to control your blood pressure. Excellent. Nitric oxide, not nitrous oxide, which is laughing gas. So you don't want that. You want the nitric, and it comes from beets. Beets are a very good source of nitric oxide.
How wonderful.
And look at how pretty that is.
The color, lovely.
Not to mention how it smells. Oh, if you could smell in here.
Oh,
it smells
yes.
so good.
Now, I actually got this recipe while on a mission trip in Ukraine.
Oh.
And I was told that borscht does not have to have beets in it.
Okay.
For them, borscht just means vegetable soup.
Oh.
But usually they had beets in it.
Right.
Okay, that's...
I've never known borscht without beets.
Me either.
Right, and cabbage.
And cabbage. But in Ukraine, it just means vegetable soup. But the beets are a very simple ingredient for them to find over there, as well as cabbage. They have very, very long winters. And so they can store these in their root cellars, and a soup like this, and of course the carrots and the onions would store well in their root center. So this is a perfect soup for a country where a lot of the people do not have a lot of modern conveniences, and these would store through the winter to make a hearty soup for them.
Oh, that's so nice.
And it was so delicious.
Yes.
All righty. Well, while that simmers just a little bit more, we'll go ahead and add our seasonings.
Okay.
So again, we have some chicken style broth powder, but you could use a broth, any broth powder or paste that you find, and just have an equivalent amount of water.
Can you also use a vegetable base instead of water, just water, like a vegetable broth?
You could do that. Often the vegetable broths are actually made from stewing onions, celery, and carrots. Then they would strain them off and package it up as a vegetable broth.
Okay.
But you definitely could do that.
Okay.
It would change the flavor just a little bit.
Okay.
I was surprised in Ukraine they had the chicken style seasoning.
Wow. Okay.
So that was this is a very authentic recipe.
I love it. Yay.
All right, we're going to add a little tomato paste. Stir that in. Dill.
Oh, I love dill.
And that's
I put
the
it
key.
in all my soups.
Oh, well then all
my
your soups are
soups.
borscht.
Oh.
I think the dill is the identifying mark.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me
definitely.
too. I love it. I love
And then
dill.
parsley. All these green herbs are good for us. You want to have that.
Parsley is good if you're detoxifying from nicotine.
Always
if you're
good to
stopping
know.
stopping smoking. Parsley is good to eat.
Fresh.
Fresh.
Okay, lovely. And our beans. The nice thing about making a pot of soup, and this makes a decent pot of soup with starting with 8 cups of water,
Yes.
is you can make it and eat on it all week.
Yes.
Bring it in your lunches, and it's wonderful just to have on hand. If you have some sandwich fillings and you want to bring yourself a cup of soup and some sandwiches each time,
Yes.
that was our sugar we just put in there. So we've had our potatoes simmering for just a little while, and now we're going to attempt to pour these vegetables into the pot. Let's just see if we get that burner off. And we're going to add these into the pot. Let me just take my spatula got a little warm there.
Yeah.
So let me just do this.
Good.
After we get this in here, we're just going to continue simmering
Right.
until it's all tender. Fork tender or tender to the bite, however you like it.
Right. And some people like their veggies real crunchy, and some don't like it as crunchy.
And that would
So-
work either way.
Yes.
And you can see there's a lot of vegetables in here, so this is not a really brothy soup.
Right.
This is almost stew quality.
Yes.
Yes, so it's going to be
the
hearty
smell.
and filling.
Oh, it smells so good.
Okay, and then we simmer. So simple to make.
Yes.
Basically, all in the pot.
And see, that's good. I mean, it's quick, it's easy, and I have a sample.
You do have a sample
Oh,
here.
thank
There
you.
go. Our beets give a lot of color to this soup, so even our potatoes end up by being pink. But it looks very Ukrainian, and close up we can see all the dill and the parsley, so it has a real pretty look to it, as well as, and the beans give it a little added fiber and the added protein to it, so it's just a wonderful soup. That's yours, huh?
This is mine. This is mine.
It's the dill.
It's delish.
Good, wonderful. Simple enough.
If you are interested in inviting Lesley Keza to your church for a cooking seminar, or to help your community to attain a healthier lifestyle, you can contact her at 4204 Jackson Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee 38128. That's 4204 Jackson Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee 38128. You can call her at 731-798-1106. That's 731-798-1106. Or you can email her at leslie.caza@gmail.com.
Book. I do.
Tell us about the cookbook.
The cookbook has about 160 recipes in it. 130 of them are gluten-free for those who need that. And we didn't plan it that way. That's just the way it worked out. So they're yummy and many of them are gluten-free, and there's a big variety from breakfast to desserts.
Oh, that's so good. If you're transitioning and you want to know how to cook some really good vegan meals, get her cookbook and just practice. Make it make your kitchen your laboratory.
There
right?
we go.